My name is Cyril Lachel, and you're watching YOLO, the only show that's guaranteed to end in heartbreak. I'm taking the challenge to play every game with a you only live once kind of attitude. In this case, literally. I'll play exactly one life of every game, seeing just how far I can make it on a single run. Today we're looking at Strider for the Genesis. It was originally developed by Capcom in the arcades, however this version was reprogrammed for the Genesis by Sega. It's a solid port of one of my favorite arcade games of all time, so let's just go ahead and push start here and see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to land in the Kazakh Soviet Socialist Republic. The year is 2048, which, you know what that means, that the first ever wipeout races are happening across the world at this very moment. Anyway, this is Strider Hiru, who's been sent in because he's a Strider. He's a guy who's going to take out the Grandmaster who you saw laughing at the very beginning. Apparently he has control of the universe or something like that. I played this game a long time ago. This is, again, one of my favorite games of all time, but it's been a couple of years since I've really put any time into this. I used to be able to go through this in one life, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen here. But the good news is that I know where pretty much everything is by memory, so this should be a pretty good one life run. So we get this Guile guy here, let the fire drop. Of course, a lot of people get hurt with that, but I've played this game more than once. As you can tell, what we're doing here is we're collecting little metallic animals and little helpers that will aid us in our adventure through what seems to be a vague Russia situation here. We get our cat. So basically what appealed to me about this game real early on was, of course, this mysterious ninja character with the spiky hair, but also his weapon in an era when a lot of games just had fireballs and guns and things like that, or fists, beat 'em ups and whatnot. Strider Hiru had this weapon that was, it moved so fast that it was almost like a beam of light, and that appealed to me as a kid, and hell, that still appeals to me today. And I'm really excited about the upcoming Strider reboot coming out next year, which is actually one of the reasons why I decided to do this as the very first episode. I have all of these first few levels memorized. There are only 5 levels in this. But they take you to some pretty diverse locations, as you'll see, because I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get through at least the first couple stages in this YOLO episode. Of course, not everybody remembers this version of Strider. A lot of NES owners may remember the more Castlevania-style, Metroidvania type action game, which has the same sort of weapon, but it's not as frantic. There's not as much energy. I much prefer this. Did you know that between Strider 1 and 2, Strider actually changed his eye color for absolutely no reason? It went from brown to blue. I find that interesting. So Strider has this pretty ridiculous 1990s storyline. You can see here I'm having some issues getting through this gate. I'm usually a lot better at this. There's a gorilla on the other side of this gate if I can get through it. Good lord. All right. There we go. Anyway, while I take out the gorilla, let me get back to it. Strider has a pretty interesting, pretty silly backstory. He's apparently the youngest of the super A-ranked ninjas, which is why he's a Strider, and he can swoop in on his flying craft, and apparently he lives in space. Not much is known about Strider, which was kind of the appeal back in the day. On top of the original Strider on the NES and this Genesis version here that I'm playing, there was also a game called Journey from Darkness, Strider Return, by US Gold, it was for the also for the Genesis, and I believe for the Game Gear, and that is just utter trash. And it uses a lot of the same sprites, but it is definitely not as good of a game. I like this stage here because we transition with the silhouettes, which is kind of neat. I go for the one up there, even though that's completely useless in this only live once episode. Up here, you're going to see a little bit of what makes this game so diverse. As you can see, we started early on in the snowy mountains, but now here we are on a flying machine, dodging bombs that are dropping. This is actually one of the hardest parts. I usually die in this section, so hopefully I can make it through, and this won't be a short episode of YOLO. It's worth noting that the creator of this game, he moved on to another company and recently developed a game called Moon Safari for the Xbox Live Arcade, and that's a fun game. It uses a very similar attack, but no, it's no Strider. And don't forget about Strider 2, which was on the PlayStation back in 2000. That's actually the last Strider game that's come out, though. Obviously, he's had cameos in Marvel vs. Capcom and Capcom, or Namco Cross Capcom, Card Fighters Clash, and even Mega Man Legends. All right, make my way through that. Let me get this life here. All right, make my way now. Back in 1990, this was one of the earliest games that received Electronic Gaming Monthly's Game of the Year awards. You see these Chun-Li triplets. Let's see if I can get them from down here. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I have enough life. Let's just bulldoze through these characters here. And then go kill the captain. This Strider was the game that made me absolutely need to have a Genesis, and that's why I was an early adopter right from the get-go. This and the original Ghouls and Ghosts. There's a story here. We're going to go to the Balrog. So this is the third stage. Here we are on yet another airship, but this one's a little bit different. This has some missiles, and eventually these levels will turn into, there's some anti-gravity stuff that's pretty cool, and you zip around in space a little bit. Oh yeah, and one of these levels, you fight a dinosaur. You can't forget about the dinosaur. I hope that they tackle a lot of this stuff in the upcoming Strider game. I'm definitely excited to see what that shapes out to be. Hopefully it's more along the lines of Bionic Commando Rearmed. I was a big fan of what Capcom and Grin, what they were able to do with that. I don't have much life, and all right, we'll take that. And never mind about that life. You thought I might die there, didn't you? Thought this was going to be early. If I die, it's not going to be from lack of life. There's all sorts of pickups here. It's going to be from me doing something stupid, and there's a good possibility of me doing something stupid. Oh, man, jeez, that's terrible. Well, like I said, if I was going to die, it was going to be from something stupid. I didn't make it all the way through, but it's up to level 3. Thanks for watching this pilot episode of YOLO. Definitely let me know what you think of this, even if you hate the name. And don't forget to subscribe and check out Defunct Games.